Hi, writers. So we are on day 2 of working on our opinion writing. So again, today you are going to need that Being a Writer, the Student Writing Handbook, and your graphic organizer. So I want you to go ahead and make sure you have turned to page number 18. And then you have your graphic organizer. Remember, we have it filled out from yesterday. But if you flip it over, you should have a blank one that we can use today, okay? So yesterday, we read and organized our thoughts on the opinion of school should start later in the morning. Now, this author has a different opinion. They are persuading us to believe that we should not change our start time and school should stay the same. So by the end of this article, we should be able to have our own opinion formed, okay? So you will, at the end, be able to fully agree with either the author from yesterday or the author from today, okay? But remember, for today, we're just, even if your opinion is not the same as this author, we're just pretending like it is, okay? So we can organize our thoughts on our graphic organizer, all right? So we want to remember that we have our introduction paragraph. We have reason number 1. We have a paragraph with reason number 2. And then we have one more paragraph. Remember how I said some passages will have 3 reasons, but for this week, when we're practicing, we will only see 2 and we will only write about 2, okay? So then, of course, this last one is our conclusion paragraph. That's how the author ties it up nicely and says the end without saying the end, right? Okay, and if we remember, our I and our C are the same thing. It's our opinion. And today, our opinion is that we don't want to change our start time. So we'll just put don't change. Okay? And then we will read and come up with our reasons and then those examples. And then tomorrow, I will show you how we start putting in those ideas into great sentences. Okay? So again, today, you're not going to have to do much thinking on your own. You're just really watching how I want you and how Mrs. Peters and I expect you to eventually organize your thoughts on your own and write your own opinion, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's make sure you have your page turned to page number 18. And you are ready to read along with me. Some people say that school should start later in the morning. I don't agree. There are many reasons why it's first to start at the normal time. All right, let's really listen to reason 1 and see what we can come up with, okay? It would cause problems for family if school started later in the morning. Many parents take their kids to school and then go to work. They have to be at work at a certain time. They can't be late. If school started later, then those parents would have to rush to work. They might drive too fast, and that would not be safe. Also, they might arrive at work late and get into trouble. Ooh, all right. So remember, a lot of times we can find our reason in the first sentence. So let's reread that first sentence. It would cause problems for families. Okay, so let's underline that. And let's go ahead and write that on our reason 1. Okay, and remember how I said on our graphic organizer, we don't have to write complete sentences. We can just jot down ideas. So even though it said problems from families, we can just write problems, okay? Now, what are some examples of the problems that it might cause? So that's when we want to go back and kind of reread it. So let's see, many parents take their kids to work and then go to work. They have to be at work at a certain time. They can't be late. If school started later, then those parents would have to rush to work. They might drive too fast, and that would not be safe, right? So, you know what I'm thinking is they're rushing, they're driving really fast. What might be an example of the problems that it would cause? I know a lot of times when I feel rushed, another word to describe that is stress, right? A lot of times you can probably tell if your parents are rushing to do something and you won't get out the door fast enough, they kind of start, hurry up, let's go, we've got to go, I'm going to be late. That's an example of stress. So even though it didn't actually say that, we can kind of infer that it could add stress. So a problem that it could add is stress, right? And then what's another problem? So the stress would cause them to drive fast, right? Which might be dangerous or unsafe. Also, they might arrive at work late and get into trouble. So it's going to cause problems like stress, but it's also going to cause problems at their what? At their work, right? Get into trouble at work. Let's go ahead and just add work. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and look at I'm like a robot today. R2 paragraph. Let's go ahead and read and see if we can come up with the reason and then 2 examples that we'll be able to write about. Okay. If school started later, then it would finish later too. That would be bad because then kids wouldn't be able to do after school activities. Lots of kids play sports, volunteer, and do other fun things after school. For example, I play soccer every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon right after school. It's one of my favorite things to do. But if school finished later every day, I wouldn't have time for soccer. Okay, so remember, we can a lot of times find that reason in the first paragraph. If school started later, then it would finish later too. So sometimes it's okay to pick out the words from the passage, but sometimes we can find synonyms, words that mean the same. So instead of finish late, maybe we could say end later. And then if it ends later, what can these poor students not do? Well, it gave us a lot of examples, right? Lots of kids play sports, volunteer, and do other fun things after school. So which 2 do we want to pick to write about? Well, I know a lot of you guys play sports. So let's go ahead and add that one, no sports. And then what about this one? Other fun things after school. I know Owen and Olivia, they like to play with our neighbors after school, or relax and watch TV, or go swimming, because we have time to do that before we have to come in and do our homework and eat dinner and then get ready for bed, right? But if it ends later, then there's not going to be any time to do those fun activities, right? So no time for fun. Okay? All right, well, that is how we do graphic organizers, okay? And it will get easier. The passages, these are pretty short passages, so they don't have a lot of details for us to pull out. But as we keep working, the passages will be a little bit longer and we'll have more information and we'll be experts at filling out our graphic organizers. So please make sure that you hang on to your graphic organizers. Remember, you can just fold them right into your book. And I will see you tomorrow where we will model and then you will practice on your own how to write an I paragraph, the introduction paragraph. All right, good job today. Bye.